Because I think Ted Kaczynski had a comic's brain. Like, I think he had a brain where it saw through the bullshit. Yeah, actually, I can't, I shouldn't say Ted Kaczynski, the guy that arrested him. Yeah. The guy that ended up taking him down, he had a comic's brain. Ted Kaczynski said to him, I'm paraphrasing this. If you saw this this movie, you're going to go, it's not exactly what he said, but they're doing quid pro quo with the guys debriefing him, and they're trying to get him to admit he was guilty because they don't really have a case on him. Sure. And so at one point, Ted goes, you're wanting me to admit, but I need to ask you some questions. And the guy goes, okay. And Ted goes, when did you realize I was right? And the guy freezes and he goes, I was driving in the middle of Idaho in a snowstorm and I came to a crossroads where there was a red light. It was 2 a.m. and I sat at the red light for 10 minutes and it wasn't changing. And I thought, this is what's wrong with the world. Technology, like there's no one there. Yeah. But I'm still beholden to the rules. Listen to the rules. And I went, those kind of observations, like Bill, like, dude, that's why I say I think Bill Burr would like Ted Kaczynski a lot. I mean, dude, Burr is I think he's the pinnacle of, I would bring him in. I think in another life, he is the greatest murder detective of all time. Yeah, because he can challenge everything in such a smart way. That's why he's one of the greatest comedians of all, because he can just come in and challenge it away, dude. I remember going to watch him at Caroline's when he was still doing Caroline's, and like me and Giannis and Nate would go in the back and you just watch a bit and you'll be like, oh my God, like a premise where you're like, I don't necessarily, how is he going to pull this? Oh my God, he pulled it off. And this is the greatest joke. What's the detective? And he'd be like, what's good? What's that? What's that fucking handkerchief? Why was that there? And the woman's like, he would get a lot of yelling confessions. I fucking did it. I did it. You know what? Yeah. And he's like, I know you did. I fucking know you did. And he's like, I fucking did it. Is that what you want, detective? And he had birds. He's yelling back. Yeah, why don't you turn yourself in? Would get a lot of yelling. I might have to bring that up to. Yeah, dude, he would get people to yell back at him. Where they're like, because they deserved it. And he's like, yeah, see, there it is. He would have got Bundy. He would have got Ted Bundy. You would have had Ted Bundy do what Ted Bundy did in that courtroom in Orlando where he lost it. He would have got him in Colorado. He'd been like, why'd you escape? Why'd you run? He's like, all right, don't you think I would? No, don't charm me. I'm not a woman. And he's like, yeah, well, I murdered those bitches. You can't sneak in the back door and climb up the back stairs. It wasn't the back stairs. It was the front stairs. I went in like a man. I'll kill him with my own hands. And he's like, I fucking got you, just bird breaking. If you could send Bird, I would 100% watch all of that. I would love to see other comics solving mysteries. I would be First 48. I'm Columbo. Yeah, one last thing. Yeah, you know what? I got one more question. I'll tell you exactly who I am. Have a sip of water, dude. What's going on? Long day, huh? The guy's like, yeah. I'm like, sometimes the world just makes you angry. He's like, yeah, I just that's how I get over it. They'd be like, man, sometimes you just want to do something. I'm like, tell me, brother, what did you do? I killed her, man. I would have a lot more heartfelt terror confessions. Yeah, I'd have a lot of guys go, then I go, hey, it's okay. I go, I do with that a lot. People in the other comps would go, we got them, Marty, we got that on mic. Okay, come on. Hey, bud, you're going to go away for a long time. It's better you admit it, though. Get that off your chest. Get this off. You're going to feel better. Sleep good tonight, Nate. And I think you would come in and you'd just be like, one last thing. You said you were in Pensacola last week. And guy said, am I crazy? But when you say Pensacola, did you mean Delray Beach? And the guy's like, yeah, Delray Beach. Because if you're in Delray Beach, then the sun there doesn't set until, yeah, dude. Wolf would beat people like Batman beats Joker in Dark Knight. Michelle would go, and there you go, just slam his head. What's your fucking problem? And he's like, oh, fuck. Someone get me out of this room with this lady. Michelle would definitely lock the door and go, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. I can tell you everything. My initial thought was Jerry was crazy when you put him in the JFK here. Wow, he really looks like JFK. It was amazing. Are you making any progress? Show him. Stan. Okay. It's not to scale, but astonishing. What are you guys, 5 years old? Little John draws better than that. And I think there's something wrong with him. Well, I mean, I thought if you were making an entire movie about the history of the Pop-Tart that it was going to be a little lighthearted. I made it perfectly clear in my inaugural address. You did? Great speech. Ask. It's so absurd that they would come to the president or even get the meeting to talk to him about it, especially with the Cuban Missile Crisis and all this stuff, and then trying to drag him into Vietnam. all the stuff that he was dealing with that they would get there. I can't believe I'm in a scene with Jerry Seinfeld. This is like the greatest ever. I also love all the period correct wardrobe here. I love the way Jim looks. I love his glasses, and Melissa McCarthy is, the way they got her hair is amazing. May I keep this? Ask not right. I can't tell you where to go. I can tell you where not to go. Wherever they filmed the first 48 on A&E. If you're not familiar with the show, here's what it is. Camera crews follow real homicide detectives for the first 48 hours after a murder. And the reason that that time distinction is so important is that after 48 hours, they give up on that murder. They're like, that's some old shit. What do you want to do today? You're like, how about you keep trying to solve that murder, man? That shit happened on Monday. That's Verzi. We're not going to solve that shit. Really? There are so many amazing moments on that show. So many. A lot of the episodes take a similar path. I'm blown away, first of all, at how many times there's a witness to a murder. It's crazy. I always thought murders happen in dark alleys. Nobody saw shit. No. Every other episode, like, you see that shit? And I was like, I saw that shit. Yeah. Weird. Right? Fucking here? Really? Oh, I was standing here. And then he killed that dude there. What he looked like, he was like 5'2" to 6'8", something like that. And they're like, that's the fucking description you're going to give us, huh? Anything else about him? Yeah, he had ears too. Thanks, man. No problem. They still will vex that shit out. I don't know. And they show it to people. You know this guy? And everyone's like, nah. But then my guy will be like, yeah, that's Cricket right there. You're like, oh, shit. You know him? I've been known Cricket 27 years. What's his real name, man? That's just Cricket. And I don't even know. Stop being white and weird. That's a perfect fucking impression. And you know exactly who that was. Okay, yeah, it's a black guy, and he's wearing a wife beater, and he's got on a dirty hat, and he's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. And he looks like he's about 33, but you find out he's 76 years old, and he speaks super aggressively to the cops. I've been out here for a minute. They're like, all right, Jesus Christ. When was the last time you saw him through with jellyfish? Last week. They were looking for some smoke, and they're like, all right, Jesus Christ. They always cut to the whitest detective from that guy, too. They cut from that guy to the guy who's like, I don't think he's going to help us out. We're going to have to find Cricket on our own. That show is the best moment in television, is the most dramatic thing you could ever see because it's real life, and that is the interrogation. Interrogation is amazing because here's the thing about drama. You want to have a great dramatic moment, raise the stakes. There's no higher stakes than somebody being questioned about taking somebody else's life. It's inherently compelling television. It is also super serious, but the detectives insist on using the suspect's street name. So the whole thing turns into a fucking cartoon. Like they're literally like, your life is on the line. We need to talk to you. Why don't you have a seat? Little stank. Why don't you sit down for a second? Did you or did you not know Dookie Shoes? I don't know. No Dookie Shoes. I got a picture of you hanging out with Dookie Shoes. I mean, I seen I don't know. And then they'll throw one bit of evidence against the wall, hoping it'll solve the case. They'll be like, well, we were talking to Nami, and he said that you were at the 7-Eleven last week. And he'd be like, yeah, I shot him in the face. And you're like, God damn. Really? That's all it took to break you, dude. Be alive for longer. You can kill somebody. You can't lie for 10 fucking minutes about it. Like, dudes will break anything. They'll be like, we heard you had on a blue shirt last Friday. Yeah, I stabbed those 4 people, dude. A lot of people had blue shirts, man. So you can still get out of this. Here's what I've learned watching that show. Okay, lawyer up. You can't handle that shit. Like, everybody's like, I'm going to talk to the cops and straighten this whole thing out. You're going to do 25 to life. Have fun with that, man. Nobody asked for a lawyer.
I've seen 300 people get interrogated on this show.
2 of them were like, I talked to a lawyer. And both times, the detectives were like, fuck. And then at the end of those episodes that said on the screen, all charges against Tyshawn were dropped. Or Jim, pick a fucking name. Let's be honest. There's no Jims on the show. I've seen every episode and none start with, hey, Bryce, can we talk to you for a second, man? Where were you last Friday? I was over at Tanner's house. Then Skylar had a party. So we went over there. And then we picked up Connor. And we had pancakes. Sorry, bro. Good detective, bro. Any theaters whatsoever. Yeah. For financial reasons, you want to set up the clip. Yes. So being a rescue ranger is no walk in the park all the time. And in this scene, Chip and Dale are cornered in a room and they, there's bad guys on the run and there's only one way to get out. Let's take a look. Hey, that's my personal bathroom. Look for a way out of here. No, come on. There's only one way, Chip. No, that's disgusting, Jimmy. I got him. It's her only chance. Live a little, live a little. You seem excited about this, dum-dum. Ah, come on, Chip. The water's fine. Ah, dang it. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. No, no, I'm done. Yeah, well, that certainly gives new meaning to the term royal flush. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You are correct, sir. All right. All right. All right. All right. For real. Now, speaking of Chip and Dale, we have something very exciting. Speaking of Chip and Dale, it's all we're doing now. Very exciting. As you all may know, the premiere for Chip and Dale is happening tonight. Yeah, next door to where we are right now. And as a very special treat, Disney and the Jimmy Kimmel Show would like to invite all of you. So call the babysitter and pay him more. Okay? John, I want to thank you for being here. And in case we haven't mentioned it, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers is on Disney Plus, not in theater, starting Friday. We will be right back with Cheryl Hines. I go to pick up my guns. I got 2 guns. I got a shotgun too, but I broke it first day. Yeah, I thought I got the one that goes she, but he sold me the one that went hey. So I go to pick up my guns and my arms dealer tells me, he's like, hey man, he goes, I can't give you your guns. I said, why not? And he goes, none of your paperwork checks out. I go, what do you mean? He goes, all the bills are in your wife's name. Your car's in your company's name. I can't give you your guns. I started laughing hysterically because all I thought to myself was, our system works. How great is it that our system works? I looked at him laughing hysterically. I was like, dude, I feel safer knowing I can't get a gun than if you gave me 2 guns. I go, I'm so happy that our system works. And he looks at me dead serious and he goes, oh, you're getting your fucking guns. I was like, wow, I don't feel so good about this anymore, Kevin. He's like, no, we have a workaround. This is what he did. Called my wife on the phone, said, ma'am, I want you to print out a blank lease, then fill it out saying you rent a room in your house to your husband, fax it in to me. I get it. I'll give him his guns. My wife was cackling on the other end of the phone. Sorry, we're at full occupancy, Kevin. She sends it in. I get my guns. I love my guns. I do love my guns. I'm the kind of idiot. Yeah, I don't know if you're like me where you see a gun in a movie and I call up my arms dealer immediately. I was like, yo, Matrix Agent Smith, what gun is that? He's like, Desert Eagle 50 caliber. I go, sign me up. He's like, I can't do a 50 caliber in California. I'll get you a 40 caliber. I'll do a workaround in the office. I'll get you what you need. He's like, you can get a long gun too. What long gun do you want? I go, I need a shotgun. He's like, I just sold you a shotgun. I go, yeah, you sold me the circumcised one. I want the uncircumcised one where you can pull the hood back and just, he's like, you don't want another shotgun. You want an AR-15. I was like, whoa, slow down, brother. I go, I might not be the right guy for an AR-15. I lost my Glock for 9 days. All my wife heard was AR-15 and comes marching in the kitchen. Is that motherfucker trying to upsell you on an AR-15? Like, bitch met her talking. She's like, did you tell him you took your Glock in the shower with you? I'm like, woman. I go, Kevin, I'm not going to be a part of the problem in this country. I'm going to be a part of the solution. I'm not getting another one of these killing machines and putting out another population and losing it for 9 days and some kid finding it. All I want is my Desert Eagle, 50 caliber and a shotgun. My wife's next to me. She goes, that's the man I married. Kevin's on the other end of the phone. He goes, am I on speaker right now? I said, no. Then he goes, all right, cool. I'll have the AR-15 waiting for you. I said, bro, I really don't want the gun. He goes, give me 10 seconds and listen to me, Bert. In the event of an apocalypse, I'm like, I'm still listening. He's like, this is the best gun to defend you and your family. I couldn't even help myself. I was like, can you give me the one with the bump stock on it? My wife heard me say that and canceled my fucking lease. No, you ever meet somebody and they're so boring you feel like they poisoned you? Like you're talking to them and you're like, I feel like I'm dying right now. I think you did it. This guy's name is Craig. I met him. I made sure to get it. I'm going to remember you for the rest of my life, man.
Theo.
I met him at the bank. Is he a bank teller?
No.
Is he a security guard? Nope. What's his job? I don't know. I know. Whatever they call that guy that stands in the lobby of banks now, where like you walk in, you're like, do you work here? He's like, I think so. That guy, the lobby liaison. Well, I saw him. We made eye contact. I don't know how you work for me. If we make eye contact during the day, not at night, but during the day, out of human decency, I acknowledge you. So that's what I did. We made eye contact and I go, how you doing? And he went, and I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. So then I get to the second set of doors to walk in. And as I reach for that door, I hear you going to the bank. I go, is this still a bank? He goes, yeah. I go, I'd like to. And he goes, go for it. And I was like, okay, thanks. And then I reach back and he goes, I'm going to Virginia next week. Are you telling me that? I said, he goes, you said, how you doing when you got here? I had to think about it. That's what I'm doing. I go, that's the craziest shit I've ever heard Habate say. And also not how that question works, but all right. And now I reach back and he goes, yeah, my sister lives there. And I'm like, how long has she lived there? Now I'm roped in. He goes, 15 years. And I go, you've never been. And he goes, now I'm starting to look at him like, hey man, do you drive to work or does somebody drop you off? You know what I mean? I think you could see it in my face because out of nowhere he goes, I drive. I was like, that's cool, man. It's cool. I drive too. That's crazy. I got to get in here. He goes, yeah, we're going to check out DC and we're going to see some monuments. I go, I would love to hear about it, but I have to make a deposit. He goes, well, I'll be here when you walk out. I go, you motherfucker. Fuck that guy and fuck everybody like him. If you have the audacity to tell people how you're doing when they say how you doing, that shit is rude and selfish. All right, I'm serious. There are two acceptable answers to how you're doing, fine and great. And if you're miserable, you say fine. You don't burden people with your real world problems during a courteous exchange. Yeah. You guys got the All Blacks. Let's be honest. It's all we see. Jason Momoa in the gym and he goes, we were just watching your last night. And I go, really? He goes, yeah, you look way different. You're a fat piece of in the other footage. I was like, cool, man. I think we spent like 12 hours hanging out. He was the most genuine, humble, fun, warm, my best friend. I consider Jason and I to have a much, much more authentic and close relationship than I have with like Brett, one of the guys I do a podcast with. I had never performed stand-up in South America. I didn't even think it would ever be something that I would do. But I went to Buenos Aires, Argentina, had one of the best shows and also ate like a fucking king. And then we flew to Chile, had an amazing show there. I stopped in Peru, in Lima, Peru, and saw family, and then finished the leg in Mexico City, came back home, got a little bit of rest, and then had to ramp up for the 40-day European tour all the way west until we ended up in the UK. Also got to do stand-up in Madrid, in Barcelona, Copenhagen, Paris, London, Birmingham, and Glasgow. A whole tour came to an end in Iceland, which was such an epic ending. It was a great way to end it all. But working with Tom is, I mean, you really can't ask for anything better. It's... Fuck, Dad, it's the greatest opportunity that I've ever gotten. He understands that, like, you know, if you treat your people properly, they're going to go above and beyond. The other thing that is a credit to him as well is that he's a very good judge of character and he surrounds himself with great people, puts a lot of faith and trust in all of us. You know, by doing so, he really creates this environment that drives us. Nobody wants to be the weak link. You know, being on this tour and just meeting Tom 14 years ago has changed every single part of my life for the better. To have someone like that, that's like unconditionally supportive. Best year of my life. I love you, Tom. Thank you so much. To have someone like really take a chance on you, there's really no better feeling. I don't think I could ever tour with anybody else. Hey, Tom, Mike Cronin, I opened for View like 4 times this year. Probably don't remember because you're looking at your phone most of the time, but I just want to say I'm very proud of you, and I think you are a good person. You're a good person, and please give me more money, okay? So how is it driving for Tom? Well, I've been thinking long and hard about what I was going to say, and to be real honest with you, I can't say anything good about the man. Nice of you to talk to him for the first time the whole tour time. Don't fuck this up. I already told you about eye contact. I look down. He's just mean. He's just mean. He's a mean man. Even when he's nice, he's meant I have places to go. Fed to see. Are you high again? We work 7 days a week. No time off. I haven't seen my family in 4 years. He just blew his nose. You got to do it again. Oh, great. No, on a serious note, he's a really good guy. He's a pleasure to work for.
Easy going.
But he isn't funny. That's about it, Sam. And there weren't special things for kids the way they are now. Like we would just go see movies. Any movie like Back to the Future, that was a movie like everyone could see. Kids could kind of see it. Great movie, right? I rewatched it recently. It's a very weird movie. Marty McFly is a 17-year-old high school student whose best friend is a disgraced nuclear physicist. And you notice they never explain how they became friends. They never explain it. There's not even in a lazy way. Like, hey, remember when we met in the science building? Like, they don't even do that. And we were all fine with it. We were just like, what? Who's his best friend? A disgraced nuclear physicist? All right, proceed. What a strange movie to sell to be a family movie. 2 guys had to go and do that. They had to be like, okay, we got an idea for the next big family action comedy. All right. It's about a guy named Marty, and he's very lazy. He's always sleeping late. Okay, is he cool like Ferris Bueller? No, but he does have this best friend who's, disgraced nuclear physicist. I'm confused here. This best friend, this is another student or, oh, no, 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 no. This guy's either like 40 or 80. Like even, we don't know how old this guy's supposed to be. But one day, the boy and the scientist, they go back and locked and they build a time machine. Oh, okay. I think I see where you're going here. They build a time machine and they go back in time and they stop the Kennedy assassination. Oh, wow. That's a really good idea. We didn't even think of that. All right. Well, what do they do with the time machine? Well, now I'm embarrassed to say. All right. All right. All right. We thought it would be funny, if the boy, if he went back in time and, he tried to fuck his mom. I don't know. We thought that'd be fun but no, good point. No, he doesn't get to, but because this family friend named Biff, he comes in and he tries to rape the mom in front of the son. The dad's got to beat the rapist off of her. And also we're going to imply that a white man wrote Johnny Be Good. So we're going to take that away from him. Well, this is the best movie idea I have ever heard in my life. We're going to make 3 of them. Now you say they go to the past. How about we call it Back to the Past? No, Back to the Future. Right, but they go to the past, yeah. Our first guest tonight is an Emmy-winning writer and comedian, from his work on SNL, Oh Hello, on Broadway, in the Netflix series Big Mouth. He'll be playing Madison Square Garden on June 23rd, 24th, and 25th as part of his From Scratch stand-up tour. Please welcome. There it is right there, From Scratch. Please welcome back to the show our very good friend John Mulaney, everybody. Hello, old friend. Hi, Seth. How are you? I'm good. I can't help but noticing you brought a second suit. There's no other way to bring it out here than to hold it. You remember 18 months ago when you and all those people tricked me and confronted me and said my life was going downhill? Yeah. And I needed to make some changes. Let's talk about the way you dress on air. Oh, okay. They cured the pandemic. I mean, I don't read the news, but they cured the whole thing. We're not working from home.
No.
You're not in an attic in Albany or wherever you go when you're not here.
Yep.
You're still dressing like you had a date and didn't want to wear the same clothes at work. So stopped at the Gap in Astor Place and bought a sweater. It's, I don't like to do this. I don't like to confront people. No, but how about a suit? Again? I mean, if you want me to put that on, I'll put that on. But I will say, I feel like we put a lot more into our intervention for you. Oh, what? Because I don't have a car waiting. That would have been really nice if you had a car waiting to take me to a tailor to take you to Pennsylvania. You're going to spend 2 months getting fitted. Listen, you're 32 short, right? I always think I was going to put pants on as well. I'll put the shirt on. And while we're doing this, and look, I mic'd the jacket.
Yeah,
You did that? I did that. You did that? No one that works for you. Hey, while I'm doing this, because I do take this seriously. You and Andy Samberg, you co-hosted a talk show you filled in for Jimmy Kimmel, and you guys took it super seriously, so I get that. But that was we were satirizing how badly you could dress. This is just chronic. You can sit down while I change. You're making me very nervous. What if you feel like I'm going to I'm going to run?
I'm going to run for it.
No, it's like my dad taught me at a restaurant.
When your mother leaves the table, you stand up,
Yeah. Look at that. Look at it.
Right over the crew neck.
You're going to be mic'd twice. See, that's rare in late night. Yeah, go viral. This is, for the kids who love sound. All right. Now, this is going to be good. That way, when I watch the show tonight, I won't think I'm watching rehearsal, which I normally do. Do you feel a lot happier? Put on the tie. All right, you're on TV. I feel like this would have looked nicer if I did it backstage.
Yeah.
But it's time for that. Hey, how is your, oh, good. Call her up. Yeah, see, people go, now this is a show. This is real. Look at that. How was your first Father's Day, buddy? Congratulations. Thank you very much. My first Father's Day was a beautiful affair.
What'd you do?
My son Malcolm, who's nearly 7 months old, he got me a plethora of gifts.
Oh, yeah.
I woke up and I had breakfast with him. And his new thing is when I turn the phone on and it's in selfie mode and I put it on video, he grabs it and slowly brings the camera to his mouth. So all his films have the same twist ending. I think I have a photo of him and me when we were on SNL, I believe. Oh, yeah, again, it seems like I'm not the only guy you're forcing into a suit. Yeah, see, I remember Malcolm's words were, if I'm going to 30 Rock for something show business related, I should wear a goddamn suit. Well, sure, because he doesn't have the job yet. I have the job. Yeah, you're right. You're right. If I didn't have this job, I'd be wearing a suit. I know the difference between you and Malcolm Stature. He says that every week I do. Olivia posted this. It just said, my Valentines are watching. Well, why don't you tell everybody what you guys are watching? Because I think there are a lot of different shows that kids like. And sometimes the adult, as a dad, you have to watch a show that's maybe not for you. Yeah, there's that Coco Melon stuff. There's, the Daniel Tiger. And you watch these kids shows when you have a baby. So here we are watching Bosch on Amazon Prime, which is about Detective Bosch and based on the Michael Connelly novels that kids love, right? And then recently he and I were watching The Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix, also Michael Connelly, and he goes, wait a second, are there some crossovers? I go, Malcolm, of course, the Lincoln Lawyer is Bosch's cousin, and he is. I mean, you should have seen the look on his face. Oh, yeah. When kids catch, like, crossover stuff, they just love it.
Yeah.
My oldest boy, you guys. Oh, wait, I'm wondering. Because, we've got one as well. We got a little baby. And I'm wondering if you have felt the formula shortage. That's been something that is... Oh, yeah, the baby formula shortage, yes. So Malcolm drinks Enfamil Gentle Ease. It's the purple label and film. If anyone here has any, I'll meet you in the parking lot. I'll do all manner of things to get that. So Olivia went to Target, and she goes, you can only get 4 cans at a time, okay? It can go pretty quickly. And so when she told me that all my old drug buying instincts kicked in, I was like, oh, you're saying we need to trick a pharmacy. Okay. I was like, let's get some fake driver's licenses. I go in, I'm me, 4 cans. I come back a half hour later, Mr. Mustache, 4 more cans. You go and you 4 cans. Come back, old Vietnamese lady, 4 more cans. Also, I ordered some Infamil on Amazon, and have you ever gotten an Amazon product? And like, it's janky, it's not the real thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man, Amazon product. And like, it's janky. It's not the real thing. Yeah. Yeah. Terrible business, Amazon. So I get an Infamil. And I was like, is this real? I can't give this to my son. So I actually cut the bag open, dipped my finger in, and went, yeah, that's real enzyme. This deal's good. I have a million more questions for you. You will be right back. More from John Mulaney. I overlooked some of the things that I do because I never thought twice about them. Me and my kids go to the amusement park. We do the whole park. The whole fucking park, man. 30, 40 minutes. How? Well, I call ahead. There's a concierge they assigned to me. I get to the park. Concierge walks me and my family up to the front of every single ride. Done it for years. Keep in mind, I explained to my kids, listen, this is earned. It's not given. This doesn't just happen. Your father worked hard to be able to walk to the front of these fucking lines. There's rules that go with this. You don't just walk to the front of the line. Rule number 1, as we are walking to the front of the line, you do not make eye contact with one of these fucking people in this line. You hear me? You keep your eyes straight ahead and you don't fucking look left or right until we get to the front of the line. These people are going to say things. They're going to say a lot of mean things about me, Hugh. You just ignore them. Fucking ignore them. Because guess what? When we're in our car, we're headed home. We're never going to see these people again. You know where these people are going to be? They're still going to be in that fucking line. To be honest with you, they're still going to be in a fucking line. And that it. Okay? No, I tell them what just happened. Don't laugh like that. You look like a detective. That's a DJ. I'm trying. This is why I need therapy. I hate that I'm standing right next to the stove. That's what I hate. All right? Like, there's no way for me to say I was a big child or nothing. Like, everything is right here. It's the perspective. No. It's really bad. This is really bad. You have a bucket of, I want to learn how to belly dance.
You think you can help me with that, honey?
Yes, I can. And it's safe. It's safe from no sharks. Can I just say that's not a very ambitious bucket list, Kevin. Is there anything on your bucket list, Kevin? I don't like to help death. No, I know death is coming. I'm not going to speed it up. You met him when he was the president. Yes, I did. I call him Ball. Ball. Personal relationship. No, I did meet him, and it was funny. I go to the White House and the same thing. He wasn't supposed to be there. We go, and they say he might, and he comes out, and I'm with my wife. This is actually a very, very big moment for me in my marriage, because we're sitting together, and he comes out, and we're like, oh, he's coming. Like, that's him. So we, move up so we can be at the front. Because he gives his speeches around the holidays, and he sees me, and he goes, Kevin Hart, thank you for making time for me and coming to the White House. Love you. We love you. And I say, you got to be kidding. He looked at me, and I had to play it so cool. I turned to my wife. I said, but you want to give me shit in the house. It was so good. It was so. Like, she couldn't say nothing. She was just looking at me like, a chill. This was my Robert De Niro, and I held it. I held it the whole time. Now, here's what pissed me off. When I was done that impression, nobody in the room clapped, which I felt like that was racist. I mean, it was really racist. I said, okay, guys, here it goes. This is my impression of Denzel Washington. So I held my hands like this, and I was like, chomp, 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 end of the day, bitch. And I'm dead serious. That was my impression. And I found out that that wasn't even a line. And Jim kept talking about, he was like, yo, the way that you wear your jeans, they're like so fitted. They're so small. Like whenever you walk, it's like petite, like put together, but it's like something's mysterious about it. And we was like, y'all don't know how much we mess with him. The way we walks, he's like, Connor, man, you gotta, there's nothing wrong with the way I walk. I have a normal walk. This is my good friend, Nicole Kidman. This became a meme. This almost ended. Nicole, you see this right here? Right here? Yes. Well, they caught her in the bed. Clap. It was the middle of a clap, and they saw that she had boomerangs for hands right there. You don't want to do that. So you got to relax. That wouldn't happen if it was a relaxed moment. Okay, that's what I love the most about working with Cube. You know, he started off as the guy that you assume was angry because he never moved his lip. His top lip is always straight. All day, all day. That's his lip. All day, kill. You want to eat? Maybe. Shot is so good that you forget that he hasn't had a decent shape of a haircut in the last 5 years. You gotta show some love for Steph Curry, all right? Okay. Yeah. I'm dying for round one. Come on. I thought that was very good. I thought you did great. I got him where I want him.
I got him where I want him, baby. Oh, run along the beach. You just got to get out here early. You got to get out here before the, all right. Okay. Okay.
You know, I had one guy while I was running actually throw his own shit at me. That's a true story, Jake. Sir, we want you to draw a picture of us, but we like it to be quite low key that we're here. We don't want anyone to know that we're here. Don't draw any attention to the fact that you're drawing a picture of us. Is that okay? Is that cool? I'm not getting out of the car unless you promise to keep this on the low. I appreciate that. Listen, normally I would pay for this, but because of my success level, I feel like I shouldn't have to. That's how the rich stay rich. We just take this shit. Okay. Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's what? What's your name again? Feet? Gilia. Oh, yeah. Here's the best way to get you over your fear of feet. You can't take steps in life without feet. Ooh. Your fear is prohibiting you from progression. The minute that you can look at feet and understand that feet are simply what move you forward, you will put your fear behind. Yours was like therapy. Yours was like medication. Yes. Okay, I get irritated very fast. Small things make me mad. This is not a joke. This is an example because I want you to understand what I'm saying. I don't like it when people eat and sweat at the same time. I don't fucking like it. Like if somebody's eating while they eat, they're like, oh, I'll punch you on the fucking face if I'm there. I swear to God, I'll punch you on the fucking face. Slow down. Ain't nobody going to take that food from you. Slow down. Tell you what else I don't like. Not going to like it, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I recently realized that I don't have any patience for unattractive people. There, I said it. That's how I feel. I know when you first hear it, it's a blow. It's a blow at first, so I ask that you stay with me, okay? Stay with me until the end. I feel like they're very needy. Unattractive people are very needy. They always want something. Excuse me. You know, where I can't. No, I don't. No. I treat them like cats. Get your ass out of here. Get out of here. You better get so much. It's too fucking much. Let me tell you where the joke came from so you don't think I'm a dick. Okay? I was at the bank, right? I get down at the bank. I'm in my car. I'm about to pull out the parking lot. You got to stop at the little parking booth, right? You got to give the guy your ticket. I go to get a guy my ticket. He slid a glass back, sticks his head out. Very unattractive man. Whatever. He sees me. When he saw me, he lost it. Mm-hmm. He got excited. He's like made that ugly ass face right in my fucking face. Kevin Hart is my bank. You got to be kidding me. He said, I'm not letting you out here until you tell me why you chose us. Why us? Why you bank with us? Why'd you choose us as your financial institution? No. I couldn't believe what the fuck I heard. I said, I don't have time for this. Press the button. Get me the fuck out of here. I don't have time. He did it again. Hey, man, you out here too? You tell me, why us? Why'd you choose us? Why'd you choose us? Kept saying us. I told you, I don't have any patience. I lost it. I snapped. I said, stop. Saying us, you don't got to do with that goddamn bank. This parking lot ain't got shit to do with that bank. Hit the button. Let me lift you up out of this is when I'm body out mad. He looked me dead in the eye. He said, I got all day, Kevin Hart all day. I realized he's not playing. He's not going to let me out. I got to answer his question. Okay, fine. You want to know why I chose this bank? Your customer service loan rates, free checking. There you go. That's why. That's why I chose yeah. Oh, this is what pissed me off. He goes, that's all you had to say with your little ugly ass. I said, what did you just say? Did you just say to me, get your ugly ass out of my life? He hit the button, had to pull off. Now I'm not ugly. You ugly fucking pissed. I stop at Chipotle 2 blocks up. It's a long line in Chipotle. Now I'm even more irritated. I'm only in this long ass line because of that unattractive ass conversation. While I'm standing in line, the woman behind me goes, oh my God, though, it's such a nice day. It's so beautiful outside. I'm about to fucking snap. I'm a loser. I'm a fucking snap. Turn around. I'm going to let this goddamn woman have it. I turn around. I see her. This is by far one of the most attractive women I've ever seen in my fucking life. She was gorgeous. Immediately, instantly, I had time. I had fucking time. I said, you know what? It is a nice day. It's so nice outside. I turned into a fucking weatherman. I said, what we need is rain. We ain't had no rain in a minute. She said, I wasn't even talking to you. Turn her back on me. What the fuck? Oh, no. That is not acceptable. Excuse me. She turned around. What? I just want to know what made you choose Chipotle as your place for lunch today. See, I'm not telling you that. And I said I was an unattractive person in that conversation. Guy flipped it on me that fast. Let me tell you something, people. No matter how good you think you look, I promise you that you don't look that fucking good. I promise you something will happen in life to show you that you don't look that fucking good. My mind gave me a reality check. When he was in the bed watching TV commercial, came on with a little monster from Lord of the Rings, Smeagol. I think that's his name, Smeagol. He was doing this shit right here, you know, little monster. That's what he did. He was doing this shit. My wife said, oh my God, babe, you be doing that? I said, bitch, what did you just say to me? What the fuck did you just say? You be doing that in the morning, bitch. I ain't not getting no shit like that. Damn my goddamn life. Call me a fucking monster to my goddamn face, Sam. Good evening. Nice to see all of you. I hope you're having a good summer. I'm kind of excited. I'm about to turn 29 years old. I think that's very cool. I, however, don't feel that I look any older. I think I just look worse. Like when I'm walking down the street, I don't think people are like, hey, look at that, man. I think they're like, whoa, that tall child looks terrible. Get some rest, tall child. Yeah, you can't keep burning the candle at both ends. But, you know, I was a child for years and years, and it was a lot of fun. It was very weird to be a kid because I was so young, and you know, some things made me nervous when I was a little kid, and they don't make me nervous at all anymore. Like, I always thought that quicksand was going to be a much bigger problem than it turned out to be. You watch cartoons, and quicksand is like the third thing you have to worry about behind actual sticks of dynamite and giant anvils falling on you from the sky. I got older. Not only have I never stepped in quicksand, I've never even heard about it. No one's ever been like, hey, if you come in to visit me, take I-90, because I-95 is quicksand right now. You know, I hear all these stories about bullying, and I think it's terrible. The bullying that happens in school is really bad. I was bullied when I was a little kid. I was bullied when I was in school for being Asian American. The biggest problem with that is that I am not Asian American, but this is absolutely true. When I was a little kid, I looked like I might be Asian American. Like I have pretty thin eyes. I had very thin eyes when I was a kid, and I had straight black hair that I always wore in a bowl cut. And honestly, from the ages of 3 to 8, people thought that I might be a young Chinese person. And kids in school would bully me. They would call me a chink and a gook. They're 2 different nationalities, but that didn't seem to bother them at all. And those are really offensive words, by the way. I'm sorry to use them, but imagine how I felt because I was getting called that and I wasn't even one of those. My family isn't the least bit Chinese. I mean, we take our shoes off when we come inside, but that's more of a carpeting thing than anything else.
Here's how bad it.
When I was in 7th grade, we had this appreciation class that we never appreciated, and they took us to hear classical music once at a symphony orchestra. So we're at the symphony orchestra, and in the middle of one of these classical pieces, they banged a big gong. And every time they banged the gong, all the kids sitting in front of me would stand up, turn to me, and bow like that, which is some racist ass bullshit, but also very well coordinated group of 13-year-olds. Those were some slurs. I do apologize for using those. Although you can basically say whatever you want on television now, you can really say anything you want on TV. And if you don't believe me, you should watch a little show called Law and Special Victims Unit, because they will say the grossest, sickest shit you've ever heard in your life. No, on Special Victims Unit, they can't say the F word. They can't say the F word. But people will walk around being like, looks like the victim had anal contusions. Yo, looks like the victim had semen and fecal matter in his ear canal. Those are two actual things I heard on Law and SVU at like 3 in the afternoon. Both spoken by Ice-T, by the way. Ice-T is a detective with the Special Victims Unit, Mr. Cop Killer. ICET has been with the SVU, about 11 years now. He still treats every case like it's his first in terms of total confusion. Like, they'll be in the middle of an investigation, and Ice-T will be like, you telling me this dude gets off on little girls with pigtails? It's like, yeah, he's a pedophile. You work in the sex crimes division, you're going to have to get used to that. You know how in Law and Order they tie in current events to their episodes? Like, they try and weave in real news stories. So a couple years ago on CBU, they did a episode that was on stories about sex addiction because all these celebrities were coming out as sex addicts. So in the episode, there was a scene where the other detectives are trying to teach Ice-T what sex addiction is. And it takes a coup of minutes, and finally Ice-T gets it. And they cut to him in this close-up, and he goes, oh, I get it. You mean like when someone drinks tutu or snorts cocaine or bets the house on the ponies? I was like, yeah, you got it, man. And I was psyched that they understood and they could go on with the investigation. But I could have watched another 4 hours of Ice-T just naming examples. Just that shot of him or like when someone smokes too many cigarettes, or like when someone shops too much with credit cards, or like when someone plays too many scratchy lotteries. Or like when someone eats too much chocolate cake and he would just keep talking and it would slowly fade out and say, created by Dick Wolf. Thanks very much. My name is John Mulaney. You're a lot of fun. So I am divorced. Don't be sad. Divorce is just a legal term for no one has farted in my bed in 2 years. Why would you get a facelift? Can't you look at other facelifts and realize they haven't worked all the bugs out yet? And I get why you laugh at my physical flaws. Physical flaws are funny. They just are. Disabilities are not. But some are. Most aren't. But we know those ones, like if there's a 10K or a quilt, it's pretty bad. But the rest of the are up for debate. And if you're sitting here and you're like, well, when is it ever funny? Well, luckily for you, I have 3 examples. First, foreign accent syndrome. Some of you know about it. Some of you don't. It's real. You can look it up on your way out of here. Some people experience head trauma. Not funny. But they wake up speaking your native language with a foreign accent. Very funny. I defy you to watch interviews with these people and not piss yourself laughing. Do you understand? Like a farmer in Alabama who's normally like, that guy hits his head and is now like, the tractor trailer ate it, it fell. That's not funny to you. You piece of shit. Really? The best case ever of foreign accent syndrome happened in the UK. Not only was it a British woman who lived her entire life in the UK, she never left the town she was born in for 33 years. She was in an accident, and she woke up speaking English, but with a Chinese foreign accent. Did you hear what I just fucking said? Do you now believe in God and his awesome sense of humor? A British lady who her whole life was like, hello, it's a bit of a whiffle, isn't it? Like that now says, I have not had my conversation over 2 years now. First of all, do you know how hard it is to do that impression without squinting? Secondly, if you're getting uncomfortable, like, whoa, he's mocking an Asian accent. No, she's white. This is fine. A white British lady just happens to say, would you like a cup of tea? Tastes good? You want milk? You want biscuit? Oh, good. You want me to suck the dick now? I don't know. Whatever. She's a nice British lady. She can say whatever she wants. Now, if you're sitting in your seat right now and you're like, I don't think it's funny. Well, don't get your tits in a tussle. I got 2 more for you. So what about persistent genital arousal disorder? That is a fancy way of saying never not coming. These are people that have orgasms every 90 seconds and they can't have jobs. Why can't they have jobs, Tom? Because they're coming all the time. It's not appropriate for you. We're like, can I try on the shirt? And the guy's like, fuck your shirt. I'm going to wear my old shit. I'm not wearing your fucking shirt. Can you imagine? You're like, oh, we're out of orange juice. Or just bring water. That's too much sugar. Because I don't want any more if some people suffer from both of those afflictions. You know that? It's rare, but it happens. Imagine that like you just walk up to someone, you're like, oh, I'm sorry to hear about your dad passing away. And he's like, that feels good. I made that one up. That's not true. But that was cheap. But that was fun. Now, if you're still not on board with this, how about an old, reliable one? How about Tourette syndrome? Yeah, maybe you've heard of that. If you haven't, let me tell you. When I was in 5th grade, my parents sent me to a new school on a Wednesday I'll never forget. It was a Catholic school, and on Wednesdays they had mass. So picture you're a new student at a new school, you don't know anybody, and the first thing you're doing is you're going to church. So I walk in, and the priest starts the service. He goes, name of the Father and the Son, and the kid in the row in front of me goes, fuck your cunt. Oh, nobody did anything. No one batted an eye. He just goes, Holy Spirit, starts reading from the Bible. This kid goes, lick my balls. Fuck you. I am laughing so goddamn hard, but I know I'm not supposed to laugh. It sounds like I'm having a stroke. I'm 10. I'm like, I have tears running down my face. And finally, I'm able to get out. Hiccup. Nobody else is laughing. And the kid next to me goes, he's got Tourette's. He gets old. 3 years. I was at that school. That shit never got old. That was the greatest gift God ever bestowed upon me. And I'll tell you this, the greatest day of my life, up until the day my son was born, was the day we had a substitute here that year. And they didn't warn her about him. So your imagination is serving you correctly. It was glorious. I watched a 10-year-old boy break a grown woman's spirit. These poor substitutes. They don't know what's going on in your class. You know, she walked in, somehow they didn't tell her, and she's like, read chapter 3, and his tics would build, meaning they would start small. So he would sit in class and be like, so she goes, what's going on? And we're like, she doesn't know. And then he would do this every day. He would take markers and paint his own shirt. Again, every day he did it, but she doesn't know about it. So she sees it. She's like, what are you doing? He goes, what do you think, bitch? Then he keeps painting his face with the marker. And she goes, stop that. And he goes, you bitch, fuck you, you. And she's like, what's happening? What's happening? And we go, that's Kevin. Why are you crying so much right now? Like that when she killed herself, she's dead. She's out of teaching, but she's fine. So you were kind enough to send me a cut of this last month. This is such a wonderful special. Oh, thank you. And it's you. It is some other adult guest stars, like people like Richard Kind and Natasha and Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, but mostly it's kids. Oh, yeah. It's me and 15 kids, ages 8 to 13. And why did you have this idea to work with children? I thought it'd be funny, and I needed something to do. And America Sawyer, who you know very well, fantastic writer, amazing comedy writer, who I worked with at Saturday Night Live a lot. We always wanted to write for kids. We wanted them to add kids to cast of SNL at one point and have like a little update that they would cut to. So they go from Seth and Amy to 2 kids, remember? And Lauren was like, we're not doing that. So we had this idea. And then I just started thinking about writing kids talking like me, and I thought, that's great. So there's some of that. And then there's big musical numbers, you know, keep people entertained. And then we also interviewed them a lot on camera. That is, I mean, the songs are fantastic, and I'm not the least bit surprised by that. But one of the parts that really resonates is the kids talk directly to camera. You hear your voice. You hear Rhys Thomas, the wonderful director, America's voice. And a lot of what they talk about is the things they're afraid of. Yes. We asked them what their biggest fears were, and then were they surprised by their answers?
Yeah.
Because I thought like it's 2019. I was born in 19. So, you know, like when I was 7, I was afraid of like tarantulas, you know, and I wonder what kids in 2019 are afraid of. And like you can speculate from the news and everything, and a lot of kids are still afraid of tarantulas. And I don't know why, like they're really not a thing you come into contact with. Yeah, certainly not in New York City, I want to point out. This is everybody at the premiere. Oh, yes, which is fantastic. They all dressed up, and when I first met you, sorry, they demanded that it be black tie. We were on set one day in July, and they went, is there going to be a premiere? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, with a red carpet. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, and everyone dresses fancy. And I was like, all right, yeah, I like this, because I feel like when I first met you, you sometimes look like a kid who is dressed up like an adult. And it's fun to see you with that. What that actually looks like. Yes. This was me on an average show night. Yeah. What was it like auditioning them? Oh, well, we started off like 50 or 66 kids, and we would have that. They'd come in to do a song. And sometimes a kid, you could tell like, oh, she might be good at this type of energy. So sometimes we'd assign them a song. So this very talented young girl, Lexi, we told her to do You Already Know by Alanis Morissette. And we told her parents, could you ever prepare You Already Know? And she came in and she said, I have You Ought to Know to Sing by Alanis Morissette. Is that? And we're like, great. And she's like, but just the appropriate parts. And I was like, what? And she's like, just the appropriate parts. And I was like, well, yeah, don't. Yeah, you forgot. I forgot the whole point of the song. Then we talked to them, like just kind of loosely interview style. I gave them. I had a couple questions. And then there was one round of kids where I'd say, fill in the blank. America has a lot of blank. And so I'd say America has a lot of, and some kids said like hamburgers, and some kids would choke and be like, and some kids would say people. And this kid, Alex Bello, who's very talented, who's in the special, I said America has a lot of, and he said, work to do, you've talked. Like, I think it was your last special about how you're not gonna, you don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
You have any? I have a couple. Yeah. Sometimes I do. Most of the time I'm happy.
Sometimes I wish I talked to you, but yeah, you two have more free time.
You talk to them about it though. Try. I mean, they must have been curious. So one time on set, we were holding for a while, and they said to me, "So you don't want kids?" And I said, "No, I don't." And then we had a conversation about it as if they weren't kids. They were like, "Why not?" And I was like, "Well, my wife and I really enjoy our time together, and I like having my free time to do stuff. And you know, I think they are great, but I wouldn't want anything to come between that." And they were like, "That makes sense." And they were talking it out. This one girl went, "You might like kids." And I was like, "Maybe." And she went, "Yeah." And then we were all doing a shot the next day. My wife and I came by set and walked in, and I went, "That's my wife, everybody." And everyone went, "Hi, Mrs. Melanie." And then this little girl is not a little girl. Wonderful girl, Camille. Camille turned to me and said, "Does your wife know you don't want kids?" I want to show another. Yeah, you were posting a lot of old photos. This is you, and that's Simon Rich, and that's America Sawyer. And the three of you wrote together, and dear friends, yes, we wrote about 3 sketches together every week for 3 years. We were the closest of friends, and we would all sit. The 3 of us would sit in a room writing filthy sketches all night long. And you would kind of check in and be like, "What are you guys doing?" "Yeah." And you did a piece of it and be like, "No, I don't like it." And so we were doing a Thanksgiving scene, and we thought, let's take a picture and we'll make a Thanksgiving card for Seth and we'll give it to him. So that was the photo we took, and we made a card, and it had this on the front. It said, "Happy Thanksgiving, Seth." And then when you open it, it said, "We each other." Then we signed it, and it was nice. It was nice.
Yeah.
Another SNL sketcher in is a writer we both love wrote. This is drag drama. Thrill of a lifetime. Yes. James Anderson. How would you describe James Anderson? So for those who aren't lucky enough to know him, don't be distracted by this photo. But James Anderson is the writer who wrote this sketch, Drag Brunch, and is the funniest person in the world, and that any of us have ever worked with yet. Absolutely. Consistently funny week after week. And he's been working at SNL since, I think, 2, yes, and would come into the rewrite room not knowing what anyone was pitching on and pitch a joke that would work worth in anything. He would walk in and say, like, "Why doesn't she just go, I want a Pepsi?" And he'd be like, "All right, we'll put that in." So just like funny bones. And he wrote a sketch called Drag Brunch. And I said to him, "It is a thrill in my life to be in a sketch that you wrote." And it was fantastic. And I got to wear heels on concrete, which is fun. Do your shins still hurt from wearing? Oh, we figured it out good. Me and the wonderful costume department, you know, we judge based. I have a tear in my hip too, so we're factoring that in. Got it. How high the heels could be walking on concrete, never having done it before. Super nervous. All those things went in. We went with a low heel. Oh, wow. Do you have a greater appreciation for those in drag for how hard it was? I have a greater appreciation for those shoes and for all the times I've been like, "Come on, let's get the cab. Yeah. Come on, the Uber's here." I feel like watch me walk in real time. It was like when a cow's born a calf, I guess a calf. They're called calves. They're called calves at first. This is a sketch you wrote. Yet in college, you wrote this years ago, yeah. And you didn't pick it. You were the head of writing. I was the head of writing. But I remember saying, like, I'm like, save it for when he comes back. I'll wait till one of these writers and probably hosts. You were a Les Mis fan as a child. So this was, I should point out, this sketch is called Diner Lobster.
Yes.
And it was to the Les Mis soundtrack, yes. It was about a diner that serves lobster, as some in New York do. Someone finally orders the lobster, and we bring out the lobster. Who's Keenan playing? A Jean Valjean type. He's facing death. He's lived in the diner for 40 years. And the only music to accompany that is Les Miserables. So what we did was we wrote it by listening to the Les Mis soundtrack. And we changed the words of the songs, and we made them about being a lobster. That's sketch writing. And that was at the table in 2010. I remember it was done, and it wasn't like you were mad, but everyone was just like, And then we moved on, and now it's on TV. Who'd you write it for? Do you remember who you originally wrote it for? I think Galifianakis was the host. Oh, Allah, yeah. Well, I think you elevated it. There's a person on TV you get mistaken for. Yes. And you got mistaken in the park the other day. No, this has been happening a lot. I'm not saying I look like the Flash, but I've been told enough. Somebody just went, like they kind of see it. Oh, it's like they're like, now they think I'm the Flash, but it's happened enough that I need to say something. I'm not the Flash. I was at the dog park. I had my dog, don't worry. And I see this woman, older woman, and a little boy are walking along the gate of the dog park. And the boy's jumping up to look over the gate. And he's jumping up and he goes, Flash, Flash, Flash. Like he had a little accent from like old Europe. When old spelled with an E, you know, like Flash, Flash. And his companion, the grandmother, whatever, he says, you are the Flash. And I said, no, I'm not the Flash. You know, and it keeps going, Flash, Flash. And she goes, are you sure you're not the Flash? And I said, it happens from time to time. I'm not the Flash. At that second, someone walked up who recognized me from stand-up comedy and said, hey, I'm a big fan. And I went, thank you very much. And they walked away. And then I locked eyes with the grandmother and she was so mad. And she looked at me and she said, no, you are not the Flash. Just for those who don't know, let's go over to camera one. There's the Flash. We'll hear. Yeah, I feel like they can't say, but it's not perfect. Like when I came, it's not bad though. When I came home, I came back to the apartment. I was like, I'm sick of being the Flash. It gave no context to my wife. No context. I go, this kid thinks I was the Flash, and the grandma's mad at me. And then this guy said he was a big fan of mine, and that was embarrassing. And my wife Anna was like, so let me get this straight. Your two problems are that a fan said he likes your work, and that people think you look like a 25-year-old handsome actor, who, by the way, you don't look like. My name is John Mulaney, and a few things about myself I should tell you. For years, I was a child, and during that time, I went to a school, right? But I was terrible in school. I was awful at it. My worst subject was math. And in the grade school that I went to, they did this thing one year where they divided all the kids up into two different math groups, right? Based on your abilities. And the first group that you could be in was called the Blue Angels, and it was named after the famous aviators. And the other group was called Group 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we were a small bunch of kids in Group 2. Best part of it is we picked the name ourselves. The teacher was like, what are we going to call you? Group 2? And we were like, bingo, you got it right there. 4 and 5 is 12. I watch Yo Much Crime stuff. I do too many crime dramas. I love Law and Order. That is my favorite show on television. I love Law and Order. It's good. I love Law and Order because it's the same episode every single time. It's the same thing again and again. Law and Order is to the point that, like, you see the same types of characters on every Law and Order. Some of my personal favorites. There is a guy who, while being questioned by homicide detectives, will not stop unloading crates. Doesn't matter to this guy. Double rape and murder. Nah, he's gonna unload that van. The detectives will show up with all these serious questions, and this guy is just like Tony Ramirez. Yeah, I remember him. Used to work here. Tuesdays, right? It's like, dude, people have died. How often are you questioned by homicide detectives? I love Law and Order, and I miss Jerry Orbach more than dead relatives of mine. He was the best. He was the best. For those of you that don't know who that is, Jerry Orbach, he was a wonderful actor. He played Detective Lenny Briscoe on Law and Order for many, many years. He's also the dad in Dirty Dancing. He's the one that put Baby in the corner. That's right. And Wes, he's a wonderful actor, but a couple years ago he died. Now, you may know that or you may not know. I'm not lying to you, Montreal. I wouldn't do that. After Jerry Orbach died, this is absolutely true. He donated his eyes to the New York Eye Bank. He was an eye bank. He was an eye bank. He was an eye bank. So there's these signs all around New York that say Jerry Orbach gave his heart and soul to the gift of acting and the gift of sight to two New Yorkers. Two New Yorkers got Jerry Orbach's eyes. Sorry. Like, as a transplant, not just to have, like, they got him put in two different New Yorkers. Though that is fascinating to me because they're two different New Yorkers. They probably don't know each other, right? They're probably strangers. Well, that would make a great movie. That would make a great romantic comedy. Oh, I can see the preview now. They're just like, he's an average guy who only likes sports. Dude, you sold your grandmother's wedding ring. What? It was for season tickets. She's a busy businesswoman who only likes business.
Marry sim.
Could you turn off that Bluetooth? We're at a baptism. He's March Madness. She's Merrill Lynch. Got it. But they have one thing in common. They both have Jerry Orbach's eyeballs shoved into their face. New Line Cinema presents Love at First Sight. This summer, love is spelled with 2 eyes and the scene. I thought a lot about it. Thank you. And the scene where the guy and the girl finally find each other, because the first act of the movie, they get the eye transplant. That's a given. Rest of the movie, they're walking around New York, but they keep like crisscrossing paths. Like in that movie Serendipity, which is not bad. So they're walking wild. They're like, oh, when are they finally going to meet? And here's the scene where they meet. Okay? Because if you remember on Law and Order, whenever Jerry Orbach saw a dead body, he'd make a funny little joke. He'd make a one-liner every single time. So the guy and the girl are coming down the street from opposite ends of the street. All right? And there's an alley in the middle of the street. And there's a teacher lying dead in the alley. And at the same moment, they both go, school's out. And then they lock eyes. Good evening, Montreal. Thank you very much. So what I'm trying to say is I lock my leftovers in the safe. So if anybody plans on robbing roommate 30 of the Hyatt, that's going to be a real shitty score. Clap your hands, sir. Stop being racist. Clap your hands, Jesus.